Black cisgender heterosexual identified men are killing Black trans women. Black ones.
We are not talking about it in the church.
Those street guys are already engineers. If they're mixing drugs and stuff together, they're chemical engineers.
If you're just like, yeah, let's kill 50 cops just because, that's only a fraction of the Black people that they killed. Wait, now you're talking about my wife.
For those of you who are joining in, we are talking about just the housing in the Black community and owning property, why it's important, and how to get yourself in there.
When I think of financial literacy, I just don't think of the classroom work. I think some of it is practical application.
I'm scared, especially, calling them to arms, talking about poll workers or poll watchers. That is rooted in history of voter suppression and intimidation.
Joe Biden needs to make that a part of his educational platform.
Call that shit out.
I don't see much value in you speaking in tongues, and yet when you speak in English, you don't say nothing for my people.
Many of the reasons why we're dying is because of the conditions we live under that cause our health to be so bad, and that cause it's the food, it's the water, it's clean that shit up first.
When their fathers have prostate cancer, I had like a 150% chance of getting cancer, being diagnosed with cancer. I had a friend that did a raw vegan diet, 20 years remission, had thyroid cancer, never had surgery. I'm like, that's what I'm doing.
This week in Black People Shit, Christmas special. I'm your host, Chrystee Pharris. I'm going to bring in our guest today, our people today, our host. I'm just going to add them. All right, Abdul. What's up, Janora?
Hey, everybody
out there. We missed you guys so much. It was so weird not to be doing this on our Wednesdays. Hey, Corey. Hey, Ben. Natasha. Nathan. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here, for joining in. We missed you guys. And God, what have you guys been up to since this time? Like since we've had a little bit of vacation. What have you guys been up to?
Clearly, it's not been working on my tech skills because you see me still over here trying to figure out how to post.
All good. Abdul, what have you been up to since this time off? And all of you guys out there, what have you guys been up to?
I got a chance to get into some really good books. So Thanksgiving happened, so whatever, but I did my stuff during Thanksgiving, visit family, because, COVID, so you really can't go far. Mm-hmm. I got a chance to get some stuff. I bought some clothes, some sneakers that I wanted. And then I got some really good books. Actually, there's a couple really good books. The Half Has Never Been Told. Mm-hmm. It's about Black people in America and the stuff that they left out about what happened with Black people. A lot of people don't know about. They Were Her Property was another book about how much white women. They say white women own 40% of all slaves in America.
Did y'all know that many white women own slaves?
Yeah, 40% of all slaves were owned by white people. It's this professor, a woman wrote this. I forgot her name, but it's called They Were Her Property. And it goes into detail about slavery, because people think slavery was just a bunch of guys owning stuff. But the truth about it was like women were given slaves because men were given the property. Mm-hmm. So the way they divvied up, the way they gave bequeathed the property. Women got slaves, men got land. But and that's pretty much it. Visited, saw some family, but for the most part, that's pretty much it.
So Nathan said that he's just been out there making some music during this downtime, during the Thanksgiving little break that they had.
When he says making music, is that like having sex or actually like making beats?
We'll let him answer that if he decides that he wants to go there.
His middle initial is D.
well, okay. We got jokes over here, Nathan. My apologies. No, you can answer that. I'm sure he's making some great music over there, and however he decides. So quickly, Janora, what have you been up to?
Man,
not quickly, whatever you gotta say, but go ahead.
Hey, first off, I am so excited. Wait, the way this camera is, it looks like I'm naked. I am not.
Like you did it
special, but I have a dress on. That's a long story to say that. Shoot, I don't even remember the last time I wore a dress or got dressed up. So I'm excited to hang out with y'all. In terms of what I've been up to, really depends on the day of the week or the hour of the day that you ask me. Because not gonna lie, still on this train of like crazy emotions of 2020, of pandemic, of COVID, of just post life in this new chapter that we're in, trying to figure it all out. But I am claiming that I am running through the finish line of 2020 with my head held high. Like, even if like 5 minutes before I'm crying, damn it, when that clock strikes midnight, I'm going to be positive and I'm going to claim all that has been good in 2020. And one of them has definitely been our force out there in the world.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Hey, Greg. Kimberly, thank you for
Kimberly
coming in. Nathan said, he just making music. It's okay.
You say so.
Yeah. So, well, for me, I just been diving into how we can make BPS better, how we can make it better for all of you guys out there. If you guys have anything that you guys would like to see or subjects that you guys would like for us to speak about or talk about, please, let us know, write in. And then also, I've been auditioning and doing some acting behind the scenes stuff, making sure that I'm getting that squared away. And the other thing that I can't remember, there was one more thing that I was going to say that was important that I've been doing, but I don't remember, y'all. I don't remember. But anyway, with all that being said, yes, our superpowers. We were talking, you were just talking about our superpowers. So on the 21st, what is it, Saturn and Jupiter?
Yes.
We're like right in front of each other. So say that again.
In alignment. Saturn and Jupiter were in alignment with the sun. All three of them were like in alignment in a row. And they said something about the sun's rays were supposed to give Black people melanated people, I believe they said, extraordinary powers. So everybody thought that Black people were going to be the one getting some superhuman
power. I felt it. I got it. I don't know if y'all went outside, but I went outside to look, and I was like, give it to me. Did you feel different? I don't know what I felt. I know I feel different now. So I'm going to say that, yes, it gave me some powers.
Hey.
If you had a superpower, like let's say hypothetically that you were able to get a superpower, what would that superpower be?
That's a good question.
Go ahead, Janora.
Oh, that doesn't mean I have an answer.
I would either go with flying or being able to use all of my brain, like 100% of my brain. Because they said when you use 100% of your brain, you have all these other abilities because it taps into different parts of your brain that you're not, your memory and your recall. And they even say that you can see, like if you could tap in all your brains, you could probably see like frequencies, like literally radio waves and frequencies, and tap into and hear stuff like the way dogs and animals do. So, or fly. I would want to be able to fly. One of those two.
I would. My superpower that I actually have, but I don't use it to its fullest ability. I used to when I was really, really, really like super in church and praying and like just so into it. But I like to. My gift that I would love to have even stronger would be the gift of prophecy. Be able to, because I've had that happen a couple of times where I just felt like God was telling me to speak to a certain person, and then I would speak these words and they would go, oh my God, I can't believe that you just said that to me. Blah, 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 blah. And they're crying. Or like when this woman was about to commit suicide, something told me to go and speak to her, and I did. So, and I just spoke life into them. So that would be the gift that I would like. How about you, Janora?
Those are both really good. And I think they're tied to each other. I do think we are so much more powerful than we even know. And we only use just that teeny tiniest part of our brain. Abdul, you know, I'll give you a little credit. I think you might be using a 0.0005% higher than most. But that's about as many props as you get for this episode.
Hey, I'll take it. That goes a long way.
Right.
No, that's great. And I thought about being invisible would be a cool superpower.
If you were invisible, would you steal?
Pardon?
Steal if you were invisible.
No.
What would you do with it if you were invisible? Though,
It just sounds cool. I don't know. It just sounds very.
You know what I do? I go back into after I have my audition. I would go back into the audition room and see what they say about me.
No, I'll pass.
If I was invisible, I'd be in Fort Knox. I'd be reading all the books in the president's book with all the secrets in it. I'd be in Area 51 to see if there's any aliens.
You get the Vatican.
Oh, good. Yeah. So clearly, Abdul, you have thought about all of these things.
I absolutely have thought about this. That's what the 0.1% of my brain extra is for.
Oh, perfect. So, I do have a.
Oh wait, I just want to put it out there, and I'll let you finish. But all of you guys out there, I don't know why I keep going up here like I need to do that. I keep doing like this, like I need to, and I don't.
You're about to rap.
All of you guys out there, if you had a superpower, what would you be? Go ahead, Janora. I'm gonna let you finish.
While folks are putting up their amazing answers, there is a story that I heard about the whole winter solstice and what we had last night, in addition to gaining superpowers. If you had the melanin that I thought I'd share, that I thought was super powerful. I can't take credit for it. I heard it from Amy and Von Neese. They have a podcast called More to Say with. They're a music group, and I was blessed to be on their show 2 days ago, actually on the 21st. So we talked about this, and Amy shared the story of, you know, the winter solstice doesn't, I think, happens every 20 years, but the way that it happened on the 21st only happens like every
800 years.
Right. Yeah. So that one of the times that it happened was when the wise men saw the star in the sky to know that Jesus was being born. So for it to happen again, doesn't matter what you believe specifically, but it is an omen of something good to come. There is something powerful happening right now that is an omen for good to come. So that really resonated with me and felt good to my soul. So that'll be the superpower. It's just shaking off of whatever anxiety or fear or uncertainty I have and claiming that power and that omen that something good is coming.
I love it. So wait, let me jump to, since we're talking about something good is coming, or hopefully, yes, I won't say or not, but yes, that something good is coming. What do you guys think about this vaccine?
I ain't taking it. Listen, I've mentioned this before several times. I am a outspoken conspiracy theorist, and my understanding of this country with eugenics in the 20s, ski experiment, possibly AIDS, there's a whole thing about how AIDS was created in a lab, and it was genetically made to off a certain group of people. So I don't, my conspiracy mind goes to that. That's one reason I won't take it. The other reason is because they push things too fast, man. For me, normally they go to like 2-3 years of trials before they even decide to put it in the public. Now they're testing people, and I saw 2 clips that made me really hesitant. One clip was of a nurse fainting after they gave her the shot. And then the other clip was of a doctor. They're pretending to give the doctor the shot.
Right.
Was it New Mexico or Texas, something like that?
Yeah,
and they pretend.
Is he still there?
What'd you say?
Oh, you froze. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying both of those things give me pause for wanting to take the shot at all.
Well, I do have a few friends that took it, and they were fine. But we all know that everybody's body is different, right? So, you know, we don't know how people are gonna react to it in the Black community. That's why they want Black people so bad to take it, right? Because they want to see if it's going to work. You know? Yeah, they need to know if it's going to work for everybody because every single race is different. And could react differently by race or by male or by female, whatever the case may be. But I also think, you know, they're really pushing, which is amazing too, in one way, that they have this Black doctor, female doctor, Dr. Kizzy, who was also a part of creating and coming up with this vaccine. I don't know why Abdul is shaking his head, but
Kizzy reminded me of Roots.
It does remind you of Roots, yeah, of course.
And the also thing about it before Janora gives her take is that it's known, scientifically known, that Africans have the most diverse DNA in any group of people. Mm-hmm. That's why you can get blood like one of the most diverse people are the Bush people is it East Africa or I think it's East Africa. But anyway, Africa has the most diverse people. So I remember when they first started talking about giving vaccination, they were talking about we should do it in Africa. We should do it in Africa. Yeah. Even though Africa had a low percentage of coronavirus as opposed to. I
remember that. It was like, no.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm opposed to not science in general, but white people be whiting and
white people be white. Anthony said, I can tell you something from growing up in Africa, because his father and family and all that, they lived in Africa and they also live here. Abdul, where I learned not to trust white men with needles. I'm with you. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
You're ready for some positivity in this conversation.
I didn't say anything bad about taking the vaccine.
I get it. This whole conversation, everything leading up to it, I'm low-key conspiracy theorist myself, not on any kind of level of Abdul, but I tell you what has changed my mind, and it's those people that I know personally and that I trust that have gotten the vaccine to say, hey, y'all, we got to trust this science. Shucks, even Corey said an important point that, if you want to live more people dying from COVID than this shot. But either way, you never know what's going on behind the scenes on TV. Yeah. And I think we've been inundated with so much fake news that it is hard to tell what's really real and what's not. I'm not jumping front in line to take it, but I do trust the people that I know personally in my life that do. My sister-in-law is a healthcare worker. My dear friend, Erica Hubbard, Dr. Erica Hubbard, I'm giving you a shout out. I love you, girl. I trust her completely, and she has taken it and posted about it. And I have another friend who is taking it and doing a daily log of how she's feeling, just to kind of show. And I do want to disagree a little bit with the differences with Black and white folks. When it comes to our DNA, it's another 0.0000 something percent of what really makes us different. I think what truly makes us different is the socioeconomic structure that has made having health choices different. For example, I'm eating Church's chicken versus El Pollo. Well, no, what's a better one? Kookaroo. That ain't in the hood. But either way, I'm saying that the differences in my folks having diabetes and white folks isn't because white people are different. It's because of the structure of generations that have. You only feed me the intestines. That's the product. So I don't think it's necessarily on a DNA.
So then let me clarify what I'm saying, because you don't see white people have sickle cell. You see more Black people have MS and lupus versus ASL? I think it's
ALS.
Yeah, ALS. So there is a difference, I believe, in some genetic stuff that has to do with Black and white or whatever the case may be. And there's also, even when you go to the doctor, they'll ask you if you're from the Jewish side of things, because they have a different genetic and certain things. So when I make that comment, that's what I'm thinking of. But go ahead, I'll let you go ahead.
What I'm thinking of is the fact that they give all the poor, corrupted, useless stuff to Black people. Like you said, whether it be food, They give it to poor black neighborhoods. They give the bad chicken and the bad water and the bad everything else.
They don't even give out the vaccines depending on your health insurance.
Yes.
Rich people get a different type of vaccine versus, in the poor community.
So that's the point I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like everything else that this country does, black people are targeted. And they're targeted to test the adverse. Sometimes they're targeted to test the adverse effects of what a drug will do, just to see what will happen. Whether they did, everybody goes back to the Tuskegee experiment, but that wasn't the only experiment. They did multiple tests on not just poor black people or black people, but they did it to the mentally handicapped. They did it to, a matter of fact, look at something simple like oh my God, what was her name? Had the DNA. Henrietta Lacks. Henrietta Lacks went to the hospital for one thing, and they took out her ovaries or something like that.
Yeah, they kept her in there just so they can continue to keep getting her cells.
Giving her cells. And look what they did to Fannie Lou Hamer. She went to the hospital for one thing, and they took her ovaries. I mean, so like.
Well, I definitely look forward to that episode of This Week in BPS in 2021. For the vaccine, though, I think those would all be super true things if it was let's only give this vaccine to the black folks. But no, like my sister-in-law is white. Dr. Caroline Willingham, my girl from college who is doing her daily log, she's white. So because I don't see it exclusively for black folks, then it allows me to relax a little bit.
Listen, I agree with I agree obviously with both sides. I do believe that like Tim said, Tim was like, yo, give me 2 shots. I'll take it. I'll take Abdul. It's like he's all ready to go. Because I want to make sure we go back on a high. I rhymed. I want to check and see. I want to let all of you guys know that our next segment that we're going into, we are going to talk about what was our favorite couple of moments, 2 moments that we had on BPS. So if you can think of anything that you liked, please put it in the chat and we'll make sure we bring that up. So I want to ask you guys, what was your favorite one? Abdul, what was your 2 favorite episomes?
My 2 favorite episodes was.
You want me to just play it?
you can play it.
Yeah. Let me just play it, and then we could talk about it. All right, you guys. Don't forget, whatever your favorite episode is, let us know so we can talk about it on the show.
The reason why I like the virtual dating is because you get to know the person before you even meet up. Because I'm not trying to get nobody my address, no nothing. You ain't got to pick me up. I will meet you because we don't know who's crazy out there. So I got lucky.
I hate that shit.
What'd you say?
No, I hate that shit. I would never virtual date. It's FaceTime with sandwiches. That's all it is. Why do I got to pay for a phone call? You got to buy lunch and put out money. Like, y'all want to be wined and dined during a pandemic. That's the wildest shit I've ever heard.
Well, that's the long game, Abdul. They're playing the long game.
I was selling studio time and, helping people put together demos and making money. But, all the time that takes kept me out of the street.
Mm-hmm.
I still got into a little trouble here and there, but nothing major. And if I wasn't in the studio, I was I wasn't gonna say. I was a single man, so I could focus on schoolwork and
Oh, this is gonna be a very interesting.
We're not the typical engineers.
It kept me out the streets, though.
Yep.
Yeah, it kept you into something else, though.
Oh my God! Yeah, this is what's gonna happen today. Why y'all call him a hoe on the show? Go ahead, Abdul. Let me let you talk about your experience and what you loved about those 2 episodes.
those were two particular episodes because one was our first episode, and I like how we were all just getting our voices. We were sort of just getting in the swing of things. We were sort of feeling each other out. We were sort of, Janora was really nice to me in that particular episode. So that was one of them, just because it was our first episode ever. So it was it's like a hallmark almost. It's the starting point of what this thing has been, 27 episodes so far. And the other one is just because my brother was on there and Ted, and I like making fun of my brother and Ted and doing it publicly. That's about it. It's those two in particular because it was both of them were really good times. We weren't it wasn't that serious. So.
I gotcha. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I love those. One, because Ted always cracks me up. He's my mentor, one of my favorites in the whole entire world. And I do love it because it was the first our first episode of this dream of like, let's do this as a talk show kind of situation happening, and look where we are, where we've come from. And a lot of people have been watching the show and loving it. And so I'm grateful for that. And of course, having your family and everything be on the show was something special. And to talk about a subject that most Black people don't talk about, which is STEM, being an engineer and stuff. So how about you, Janora?
Yeah, I liked how you kicked it off with one of your top choices and memories was how we kicked the whole show off for this new 2.0 evolution of This Week in BPS that originally first started, and that episode is just Black people shit. But now we trying to do big things, so we need to change a little bit. Right. But I know that Ted is a huge fan of yours, Chrystee, and you guys are connected. So to have his energy on the show, it was really nice. We were definitely finding our legs, and that was fun. And with the second one, yes, Abdul, it was nice to see that you actually have family and friends.
Yeah.
What a beautiful part of being our own team of producers and creators, where we can bring people on that represent different things. So Abdul, your folks were engineers of color representing. And I know I've been blessed to be able to bring on some of my folks, everybody from Kimberly Morgan, who talked about health. We had Shanae and Yoli, who talked about real estate and owning stuff. Mia, who came on and talked about health. And even some of the BPS people of the week. Mavis Gregg talking about Black ownership of land. The brewmaster, Barb. So
the young lady who created her own T-shirt.
Oh, right. Yes. Absolutely. So to be able to bring on your people that are doing good things and having the blessing to have a platform to shine a light on them and their work is super. So yay, good job, Abdul.
Yeah. Just a shout out to Lois Roach, who's out there watching. Just want to give a little shout out to her. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the next one. These are Janora's 2 favorite moments of the show. One second.
Watch this film. But how individually can we be advocates? Can we be their allies for you? Because we all do have the same mission.
I think it's the same conversation that we're having that white people are asking Black people, right? It's the same thing. Pass the mic. Make sure that we're not just a part of your, oh, look at that, let me let you know what's going on. Do more than just watch the film. Bring disabled people to your decision-making tables. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, one of the things that we do really well is we are incredibly creative and incredibly innovative because we've had to navigate a world that wasn't made for us. When you're trying to be intersectional, when you're in places where they're talking about DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, disability is an aspect of diversity, and it's something that's only going to strengthen what you're doing because you're bringing more people to the table. So whenever you have an opportunity to share a mic or pass a mic or whatever it may be, don't just bring the person of color or, you know, the others, but also think about how there are those of us that do represent these multiply, you know, marginalized communities.
Black, cisgender, heterosexual identified men are killing Black trans women. Black ones. Black ones. There's a need for a lot of people outside of the LGBTQIA plus community to say, well, you know, like, we're talking about police brutality, because we can't be protecting Black men but also holding them accountable for their bullshit at the same time. That's for us to actually be in a space where we can say all Black lives matter. We have to hold those same Black men that we're trying to protect from white people accountable for being the white people of the Black community. Especially as a Black trans woman who stands with Black men, it's hard for us to show up to these marches and have Black men marching next to us, giving us the dirty face. It sucks when I have my sisters calling me saying, like, I don't know if I want to show up to this march because I was threatened the last time I went out there because I had a sign that said I was trans. You know, when you have Chief Justices like Andrea, who is, you know, I'm not even sure what seat she holds right now, but as somebody who holds an office and who holds seat in the political office, for her to get up and talk about the deaths of Black men, and then in the comments, Black men are talking shit about the fact that she's a Black trans woman who is speaking out on the deaths of Black men, is absolutely ridiculous. And
yeah, those are deep,
right?
Yeah, go ahead, Janora.
And I have watched that clip many times, both of them, and they both still hit me in that place. Those are my two favorite moments because they speak of communities that we forget about in the Black community. The first one was in relation to the disabled community. We had Natasha, who represented the deaf community, Andrea, who you didn't see, but she was in a wheelchair. We don't speak about the disabled community. I feel like they are forgotten. So for her to even describe like marginalized of the marginalized, man, I really feel like it is a blessing to be part of this show, to talk about these things, to put words and language to an audience that is ready to hear and open up. So I have to write down this line every time. She said, oh, they navigate a world that wasn't meant for them. Like, and just the power that they have the superpower, right?
Right.
They have risen above all this time. So that was one of the top moments for me.
Yeah. Before you get to the second one, it was, you know, I had the opportunity to work with Natasha, who's deaf, directing her in a piece in a webisode, and then she invited me to watch her speak, and I watched these two ladies speak, and I was like, I gotta have them on the show because she's right. I never even thought about, that's not true. It's so not true. I don't know why I was about to say, I never even thought about, you know, like what they're going through, because it's not true, because my mother has MS and I have very close friends that have MS, and I think about it all the time and the things that they go through. But I wanted others to really be more conscious about what they go through on a daily basis and how they feel. They already say that their community in the deaf community is already small. But when the Black Lives Matter happened, it became even smaller because now the deaf community separated. So now there's even a smaller pool of deaf people that were communicating and being in solidarity. And so that's why I thought it was very important. And I'll let you jump in, Abdul, before we get to Janora's second one.
No, I really enjoy those, particularly because I don't speak much about it, but those topics hit home for me. I have a cousin who was paralyzed because he played football. You probably heard of him. His name is Eric LeGrand. He played at Rutgers. He got paralyzed, and So then I have, when I was growing up, my father, who was a physical therapist, used to take care of a gentleman named Frankie, who got paralyzed when he was in high school playing football. And I spent a lot of time around him and saw how that interaction was with him. And then one of my closest friends, my friend Carla Coy, her sister's deaf, and her, I believe it's her brother as well, are both deaf. And I got a chance, mostly her sister, because her sister was around most of the time, and we're all similar ages. But I got to see her, just, you know, the struggles and things of that nature from a person who's deaf. And then from a person who is able-bodied, having a sibling who is deaf, and the communication that happened between there, and then, you know, so I really enjoyed both of them, because they do shed light on I don't want to call them disabled, because they're really not disabled. They're I don't have a better adjective to describe it, but I don't look at those people as disabled, because they're some of the nicest, smartest, you know, they're some of them are better than able-bodied people, you know. So
yeah. You know, and one of the things that I also learned was the words that we use, because I called them hearing impaired, and they were like, no, that's not what we are. We are either deaf, or we are not hearing impaired, but hard of hearing. And I thought that was wonderful for me to start learning and changing my vocabulary. I just want to say, before we jump to your next one, Nate says, Chrystee and all of my co-hosts, you are models of strength, resiliency, persistence, humor, and insight. So much hard-earned wisdom. Thank you for your I can't say the word. Authenticity. Thank you. Authenticity. Dyslexia is coming in. Grit and commitment to a life of liberation. I'm wishing you all a healthy new year. He's such a great friend of mine from college. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Differently abled. I like that. Thank you. Yeah, I like that.
Kathy's been riding with us
I know
for a few weeks. So good to see you back, Kathy.
Yeah, I love it. Now y'all you're right. And oh my God, Corey. Let me tell you what I was thinking about when we were getting ready to do this show. I was like, oh, how do I put on the captions so that Natasha can watch it? And I have to learn how to figure out how to do that on Instagram, on here, and all that, so that they can be able to watch the show. So tell us about your second one, Janora.
Yeah, one last thing about the first episode. Andrea was an impact producer for the movie Crip Camp. It's a documentary executive produced by Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. And if you get a chance to watch it, it is on Netflix. Crip Camp. It'll change your life. It definitely changed mine.
Yes.
And the second clip, daggone it, is another group of people that we as Black folks ignore. Do not give the love that they deserve. And it is our Black trans community, specifically our Black trans women. Hope, man, she was beautiful and she brought it, y'all. Mm-hmm. She had no apologies.
Not even a little bit.
Not. She called out the hypocrisy that exists. Like, I'm here showing up for you, and you are here killing me. Mm-hmm. She said, out of all of the murders of the Black trans women last year, all but one were by Black men. And we don't talk about it. Like, the trans community talks about it. Maybe in the LGBT community we'll talk about it, but there's still a hierarchy and discrimination within the LGBT community. Right. So, within just the greater Black community, it is still not talked about, still not addressed. And that's what she talked about. She said, the allies, the people, the non-LGBT people, we need to talk about this. And what a disgrace for me to be standing up for you. The person in the government, who did she say it was? I'm so sorry that I don't remember from even just that clip we watched. Sorry.
Right.
But the point was she was standing up for Black men, and at the same time in the comment section,
all the Black,
they were at her. So yes, we talked about it here in the show, and I think, and I hope, my hope is we continue the conversation, and it's not just a one and done, but let's shed some light and let's talk about it.
Yeah. And again, out there for all of you guys who are watching, if there are any subjects that you would love for us to talk about, please make sure you either put it in a comment, inbox us, because we want to know what you guys want to hear, what's important to you. And as far as that episode, my cousin was also on the show. He's a life coach. He has a show called The Naked Truth. And, you know, he's dealing with all of these young kids, these people who are suffering, who are dealing with these subjects, but don't have a place to talk, a place to talk or people to turn to or support. And I commend him for doing that. So it was great to just to talk about these things that have been so taboo in our community for such a long time. Abdul?
I appreciated that those conversations. I know that Hope and I had a bit of a back and forth in terms of our perspective on certain things, and what I thought were certain inaccuracies and representation of the facts. But she makes a perfectly good point with they do need to be embraced more. They do need to be protected. They do need to be have a voice in the general public square to say their grievances. And it is unfair that any group of people who stand up for you would then turn around and get chastised by the people that they're defending. That's just a disgrace across the board. No one should go through that, regardless of who or what you are, or what your orientation or you choose to be. So, but I do believe I believe that conversation was very, very important, and I would like to have more conversations like that with the LGBT community, because honestly, there's seriously stuff that as much as I read, as much as I look up stuff, there's just stuff that I just don't know. So stuff is hard for me to grasp, and she did a really good job of making me understand things that I didn't quite grasp before that conversation.
Janora, did you want to add something real quick?
Yeah, it's definitely about understanding. That is the beginning part of any moving forward, is let's just make sure we're talking about the same thing. Let's ask these questions. And I think that's what happens. We're afraid to ask, or don't know how to ask. And so let's create the safe spaces to ask. And specifically, Abdul, for the audience who didn't get a chance to see the show, but you can see it in the replay on YouTube for now. Yep. There was a specific conversation about gender identity. How many times in the Black community do we talk about gender identity? And the names and terms do change over time. Before it could have been intersex, then it's not gender non-conforming, then it's non-binary. Like, what is this? The cis non-gender? Like, for people who aren't part of that community or a regular conversation, you don't know even where to begin to understand someone and who they are as an individual. So I think that's where it starts. And Abdul, I commend you for asking those tough questions. But I think that I would love in 2021 to see an additional episode specific on gender identity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. All right. So here were my two favorite clips that we have. And just so you know, I had like 20,000 of them. So, but I was just like, okay, we'll take these. Here's what I came up with.
And one of the key things that you said that I thought was so powerful that I need to just post as one of my quotes is racism is sin.
It is sin. And I know that some of those guys in that room have never said that from a pulpit. And some of these guys pastor not tens, not hundreds. Some of these guys pastor tens of thousands of people. There were guys in that room who on a given weekend will see 40, 50, 60,000 people, That's, but I know that there were guys in that room, number one, who have never, ever from that pulpit said racism is a sin. Number two, and you would have to have a relationship with them to say, hey, look, you left me out here hanging. I said that. I said, you know, you guys, we pray together. You go to my church, I go to your church. We travel around the world together. We do conferences together. You know, but when stuff like this happened, the George Floyd stuff, not a one of you stand up. Not one of you guys take a stand. Not one of you guys put me out here and you don't have my back. You don't have my back, and you're supposed to be my friend. Yeah, I was really kind of pissed off that day. Sorry about that.
I mean,
can I say that on you?
You guys have known. I've talked about it finally. We're rolling in on the 2-year anniversary of my brother's passing. And for the first year, I didn't talk about it at all, or at least the first 8 months or so, until my dad passed away. And so I'm a little more vocal. There was a time in my life where I did not want to talk about my brother being bipolar, schizophrenic, all those kind of things because it was shameful, as opposed to it being a part of my life that was real. So I decided to make my brother the BPS of the week because it is the 2-year anniversary of his death this week. And we suppress sometimes these things. And I want to start sharing and celebrating his life. So my BPS of the week, or our BPS of the week, is my brother, Eric Campbell. That's a picture of my brother and my mom. So that is my BPS of the week. And forgive me of my emotion. All right. I had to end it because I was getting emotional. Those are my 2 favorite episodes. We'll go from my brother first, but there's a lot of people out there who have lost people this year. You know, my story is not unique. And, you know, I don't usually talk about my personal life and those things. So being able to share it with all of you guys was special. So that's my thing about that one. And Monica said, I love you. We miss him a lot. And this girl is on vacation right now. She is in Cancun and she over here watching the show. That's right. A good friend. That's a good friend. So, yeah. And I don't know if you guys have a comment or anything about that.
I appreciate that episode because I think individually we all in our own way suppress trauma.
Yeah.
You know, I remember in a particular episode talking about all the people who I knew from high school who died. Like I think I knew a person a year who died from my freshman year of high school until like my 30s or something like that. Like I knew one person who died every year. So for you to be bearing your soul to the general public and people who, a lot of them love you, a lot of them don't know you, a lot of them might just be fans. But to get an intimate understanding of your family dynamic, I thought was very powerful.
Thank you. Janora,
Yeah.
did you add anything? Or
Absolutely. You know that I've got to say something about that beautiful, beautiful clip and moment. Chrystee, I think Abdul really hit it. Like people connect with us more, not because of the powerful things we say, but because of the times when we are vulnerable, the power in the vulnerability and letting people in. And I know I have issues of feeling in control because I keep you at a distance, right? But when I let you in, I can't control that. But that's where love happens. That's where true connection happens. So I appreciate you letting down your guard to let us in this space. And I'm sure the folks who tune in week to week are even more endeared to you because of that. So thank you, Chrystee.
Awesome. Kendra said, thank you, Chrystee. We celebrate and remember our loved ones when we share their lives with others. Amen.
Yes. And love to you, Kendra. You have rolled with us too. So I love you, girl.
She said the captions would sound. Yeah, I love it. Both Kimberly and Kendra talked about the captions, so that's good to know that they are able to watch the show. And so then the other one, which is Kenneth Omer, my pastor, was so powerful because here is this man, Black man, who has all these friends, around the world, literally around the world, that are pastors. And when it came down to this when Floyd got killed, when George Floyd got killed, no one stood up. And it was the first time I had ever watched him speak up about our race and about Christianity and where's the brotherhood and where's the support, and that racism was sin. And I thought that was so powerful because I don't think we put two and two together when it comes to that. Sometimes when we think about Christianity, we're not putting that racism as a sin. You are sinning if you are a racist and you're being racist in the world. So I thought that was a really important moment.
Yeah, I agreed. I always, before he made that statement, he put it so concisely that racism was a sin. Because prior to that, I always, like, if anybody knows me, I was born and raised a Muslim, Orthodox Muslim. That's the religious tradition I come from. But even that religious tradition, as well as Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever, I've always found the hypocrisy of people who wouldn't speak truth to power because they tried to snuggle up to authoritarians because of money or because of or influence. And every one of those traditions, it's in their tenet to speak about the oppressed, to speak about the injustice that happens to people. So for all of these, and I'm not just talking about Christianity, I'm talking across the board, for them not to be speaking up about the injustices that happen on this in this planet, not just in America, on this planet, I think he had hit it on the nose. It's a sin.
Yeah, and I just want to add before you jump in, Janora, is that he also made a comment where, he said some of them preach to, tens and thousands of, 50,000 congregation members, but they're too afraid to speak up because they know they're going to lose their position. And there was a white pastor, who spoke up about it. And the next week he lost his job because he said racism is a sin. Go ahead, Janora.
Well, even just thinking about what you just said, Chrystee, the flock of tens of thousands of people who listen intently for instructions from the man in the pulpit, what change could come if that man or woman spoke about true equality and what that means and what that looks like? We could really move forward. So powerful episode and clip.
Again, if you guys have any clips out there that you loved or anything that you remember that you loved, please put it in the chat and we'll definitely talk about it. Wow, I realized the time is going by so fast. Real, 2-3 minutes. Tell us what was your favorite part of this year? Because we know that there were so many negative things that have happened in the world, the pandemic, the killings, George Floyd and a couple, Rashawn. I mean, all these different people who have been killed and people dying. What was one of your favorite moments of 2020? If you can give something positive.
I got a chance to go back to Brooklyn and get some oxtails from my favorite place in Brooklyn. So that was a highlight for me because I went there. I forgot. Matter of fact, that was the episode that I wasn't on the show for. It was you guys, I believe it was, because I had to leave for a week. I went on vacation and I went back home and I ate everything that I couldn't get anywhere else. And it's always slices of pizza from New York, Chinese food from New York, Korean food from New York, the Greek food, the grilled chicken guy on. So I went and ate everything. That was my highlight.
All right. I'll say my favorite moment was directing Natasha. That was my favorite moment. Directing my first webisode and directing a deaf actress and trying to figure out how that was going to work. You, Janora?
My favorite moment. I'm so sorry. My favorite moment. I was just going through my whole list, both personal. Maybe I was still thinking about Abdul's oxtails.
You're amazing.
Do a personal. Just do a personal one. Because I'm gonna ask a different one in a second.
Great. Okay, so then maybe my personal recent is, I've made no mystery that I have had some down times, right, during this pandemic. And a lot of it became me not leaving the house, me afraid to leave the house, which meant my ass was only moving from the couch to the kitchen, which meant you really see my ass now and all the 19 pounds I put on. But being able to get back up, we got a Peloton, and it has changed my life in terms of finding movement and finding a community. So shout out again to Kendra O'Neill Phillips, who is on the call. She is my accountability partner out of 3 other sisters, and we show up for each other. And also shout out to Kimberly Morgan. She was a guest for our second episode, I believe, talking about wellness and health. And she has been a lifeline for me as well when it comes to getting my first primary food together, which is in here, but then the secondary food in terms of just being able to make better decisions when I do get to that kitchen. So it's 1, that Peloton, and 2, the lifelines and community that have shown up in when times I have been down and out.
Nice. Okay, so what? Let me just read these real quick. That was a great. That was a great episode. The way the bishop challenged the white church was deep. Thank you for inviting me. Christoph says, I've really enjoyed listening to you guys when I get a chance. I've recommended you all to political science students. Yay. Anthony Carr is his aunt is Dionne Warwick. So she has been blowing up in what is this, the Twitter world right now. She has a quote up there. And then Kimberly said, I love you. You have the tools. Amen. There is a quote that I'm going to say that she says that I love that she, that Dionne Warwick said, that I just think is the funniest thing. It says, hold on, I'm going to tell you in a second. Hold on. Oh, wait, where is it? Where is it? Oh, she said, please do not bring that foolishness into 2021. And they put it on a billboard in New York City. That's that quote, which is amazing. Oh yeah, Reagan's episode was great too. Yeah, she was wonderful. Reagan is a doctor who talked about the whole corona situation. Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna move a little bit faster. What was your most memorable moment of 2020? I'll start with you, Abdul.
The death of Kobe Bryant. I'm from New Jersey. I'm from Central New Jersey, and Kobe Bryant went to school in Philly. Mm-hmm. And because of the local cable networks, I literally got to watch Kobe Bryant from all the way from high school until he passed away. I got a chance to meet him at a Laker game and at another party. Nice guy, and the way him and his daughter passed and the other families that passed, to me it was tragic. It was like part of your childhood almost, because I literally grew up with that guy. It's like he's only a couple years younger than me. Yeah. And we were in driving distance, about a 45-minute drive from where I live to Lower Marymount, or about an hour or so, I guess. Right. So to be able to just watch this guy from a distance for so long and had similarities in terms of having a hard time speaking English when we first came to this country, him being in Italy, me being in Saudi Arabia and Panama, and just there's a lot of similarities in terms of our upbringing. So the way him and his daughter passed away was very, very tragic to see how that is.
It was hard just because, first of all, we're all in the same age range in a roundabout way. And you realize that it doesn't matter how much money you have, life can be taken away like that. And I literally have to drive by that area all the time. I'm like, so I'm always like, oh, that's the area, because I live in that area. So I always kind of I drove by there today, and I just feel like, ooh, it's just so hard to look at. For you, Janora?
Yeah. Oh, can I add one more thing? I'm sorry before I go.
Yeah.
Because I just found this out today. But one of my favorite childhood rappers I was allowed to listen to in the house was the rap group Houdini. One of the lead singer, Ecstasy. He passed away today.
Yeah.
So that stands out to me now because he was like one of the only guys my father would let me listen to because his raps were clean, and my father liked his voice because he had a particular sounding voice and delivery. So I was able to listen to that, and he passed away today. So I just want to give condolences to him and his family.
All right, so I know it's 4:59. You were gonna go just a little bit over you guys. If you guys can stick around, that'd be great. Janora, your favorite, not favorite, but your memorable moment of 2020.
Yep. Two quick things since already you announced we're going to go over. So I just want to acknowledge one, Tori Overton's comment about being a great show. She's in the house. She is also my #1 Peloton sister. So I just wanted to just give love to you, Tori. You have been such a blessing to me. And Abdul, you grew up with Kobe. I am a fake ass Lakers fan and was hurt. So I can only imagine. And his passing was global and such an example of so many things on so many levels. And I have made that Mamba mentality of excellence live on in all of us. And in terms of excellence, my favorite of 2020 is another reflection of that amongst our people, and that is Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. She's the first woman in the White House, and it is a woman of color. And it's not what speaks to me most about Kamala Harris as the vice president isn't about me. It's about these kids now who are growing up in a world where they have seen a Black president or could have read about a Black president in their books and now see with their own eyes a Black female vice president. And these images just release the Krakens. I mean, it allows you to dream because you can see it. And you know, some people are just like, well, you know, if you don't see it, you can invent it. And that is absolutely the case. Like blazing your own trail, that is possible. But man, images make a difference. And I'm going to use the example of Jingle Jangle on that. I saw Jingle Jangle the other day. I ain't grew up with Black Christmas carols. I cried and sang and laughed and realized how much that meant. Seeing a Black Christmas movie. So comparing Jingle Jangle to Kamala Harris, I mean, maybe not the apples to apples, but I hope you understand the analogy and the importance of what it does to see that. Now our young folks can just again have an example of doing anything. And in terms of examples and images, I will never forget seeing those little girls looking at the TV with that little T-shirt that said, "My vice president looks like me."
Yeah.
Man. So 2020, that's what did it for me. So yay, Kamala Harris. And y'all know I rode hard for her. Even up against Abdul Majid, I was representing for Senator Kamala Harris, who is now Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. And I cannot wait till January until it is official.
So if you don't mind, Abdul, I'll jump to mine. Is that you cool with that, or did you need to
go for it? I got nothing to say about Kamala. No, I got nothing to say about Kamala.
All right. So my moment was when not when George Floyd got killed, but when we saw people around the world marching for Black Lives Matter. I mean, you know, you look at this: Brazil, Sweden, Kenya, London, Spain, Canada, South Korea, Tokyo, you know, it was Paris, all these different places around the world, people were marching for injustice for us. And that to me was special, that it finally people really actually see. Real quick, let's just get one last thing in. I want to make sure that we get this out for you guys. We want to say thank you, all of you, for being ride or die with us, coming every single week, listening, chiming in, tweeting it out, liking it, sharing it, all of that. In 2021, we do have some things that we're going to change up a little bit, not necessarily our topics or anything like that, but our look. I wanted to ask you guys in a sentence or two, what are you guys looking forward to in 2021 as far as BPS in the new season, our next season? I'll start with you, Abdul. 2 sentences or less.
I'm looking forward for all of us to collectively be in one room together and be able to do a podcast collectively, just to see what that's like.
Yeah, I love that. How about you, Janora?
I look forward to growing this week in BPS. I know you said 2 sentences. Damn it. I know we just started off in this quarantine space, just creating content and figuring it out. But now I feel like we got something. So I look forward to building on this and seeing where it goes.
I'm looking forward to learning and tapping into more subjects that Black people are dealing with, and having more special guests who are experts in that area. I'm looking forward to having that. So again, we want to say thank you to all of you guys out there for watching. We're coming back beginning of January, hopefully hot and ready to go. And anything you guys want to say, any last words that you want to say? We hope that you guys stay safe. I know a lot of you guys might not have the opportunity to be with family, but you can make Christmas or this holiday, if you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, whatever the case may be. If you're not with family, it's okay to recreate what Christmas looks like to you and what the holiday can look like for you. It doesn't have to be traditional. So make it a joyous time. We're still alive. We're still here. Janora, did you have any last words?
I do, and it's specifically to James and Nora McDuffie, who don't know how to use Facebook or YouTube to write a comment, but have written from the very beginning. Every week they are here.
Nice.
Hold on. I'm sorry, that was an emotional moment, but I had to finish my sentence, and this is the first time I'm not with them in 19 years for Christmas. And so it just means a lot to be able to have this moment to recognize them, appreciate them, show them love, and know that I feel it back every week when they tune in. So I love you, Mom and Dad.
Go ahead. Now I'm over here crying because I'm laughing. No, because I am a little sad. I'm not with my mom, and of course my dad is gone, and I'm just like, but Tim is gonna hold me up. So go ahead, Abdul.
I was gonna say something else, but I just found out that a friend of mine named Leonelle McCain, her daughter Maxine McCain, has been missing for several months in the Laguna Beach, Woodland Hill area. So if anyone comes across a Maxine McCain, please inform the authorities. I'd really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, with that being said, you guys enjoy your holiday. Thank you for tuning in to This Week in BPS, This Week in Black People Shit. We had to change it to BPS because Facebook and Instagram were flagging it. But you guys enjoy. Thank you. Be safe. We will see you in the new year.
And I'll get a light. I promise you I'll get a light.
He gonna get a light. And look, wait, Abdul's got on color today.
I know.
Oh,
right?
yes. I know. He's got on color today. All right, you guys. Have a good night. Thanks, everybody. Lois, Nathan, all of you guys for joining. Everybody else, we love you. Have a good night. Thanks, Anthony.
Bye, everybody.
Later.